Hey guys, my name is Hanif Knight, one of the co-founders of the TAP Project. I am here with Hugh Knight, the other co-founder of the TAP Project. Thank you guys for tuning into another podcast. We've had some fun with this series, I'd say, eh, Hugh?
Yeah, it's been really good. The uptake and has been really good too. I think a lot of the community members are starting to enjoy it. Kind of look forward to what we've got to say and what two co-founders and their opinions are about. So let's keep it rolling.
We got an amazing podcast for you today. We have some heavy topics today to talk about. But before we get into that, for those who are just coming into the TAP Project, the TAP Project is a utility token that will allow gamers to convert their in-game digital currencies to TAP coins, traversing multiple platforms and multiple games, being able to play a game, pull out that digital currency, and play and continue playing and earning. That is what the TAP Project is about. And as usual, this is not any sort of legal advice or financial advice or anything like that. Or this is not our word. It's not in stone. Just take it for what it is. Two co-founders talking about the project and kind of the cryptocurrency and the state of the blockchain industry. So as I said, we have an amazing kind of podcast up to date. It's going to be pretty heavy, and I know we wanted to push this one for I think three podcasts in are good, right? So today we're going to be talking about obviously the TAP Project updates. We do have an announcement to make about the project. Going to be discussing some additional team members we've grown in the last little bit, an event that we did with last week at the pitch at Vantech, and discussing a couple relatable articles and a pretty good debate that we had on the Telegram channel over the last week that we hashtag podcast. So we'll start with the TAP Project update. Hugh, what do you have on the dev side?
So on the dev side, we've got the plugin that's currently being developed, the SDK. That's going really well. We're starting to try and connect it to the platform, so that's super exciting. That's one major bridge being crossed, and then on the other end of that bridge, we're also working on a lot of the Solidity contracts. So that's awesome, and with the addition of another dev to the team, that's just it's just increasing the output exponentially. So super happy. We're still on target. We're still looking good for Q2 to have the MVP rolled out. As I said, I think I said in the last podcast. We've got the platform feature-wise to a level that we're able to just kind of leave it and focus on the other things, and then we'll come back and tie it all in for the MVP, and then that's super, super exciting.
And I know we do have some project updates that we kind of want to keep close to our chests a little bit here, but we will be hopefully putting them out within the next few weeks in terms of exactly kind of our goals and directions. Some things, especially with this market, you do want to keep hidden and kind of close to your chest, and some things you definitely do want to get out there. So we are definitely, we can't wait to push those updates to you guys and let you guys, get some feedback, see how the community feels about them. But we definitely know that you guys are going to love them. So to kind of move on with our updates, Hugh, you had another one?
No, I was just gonna say, we're sitting on some big updates, and we're trying not to like, our strategy is we don't overhype it. When we're able to announce it, we announce it. It's been tough biting our lips for these ones, but when they are finalized, I think everybody's gonna be super stoked with what we've gotten in the pot that's brewing. So.
Yeah, no, it's for sure. And one of those ones I do kind of want to get out there, as we indicated on our Telegram channel, we'll be obviously announcing this on our podcast, and that is a what we'll call a alpha airdrop. And we did have a lot of requests for kind of spreading out the tokens in terms of airdrops and such, but what we're going to be calling this is an alpha airdrop, and this is going to be something that we will be announcing and kind of bringing some details in the next couple weeks. But it does have a relation to our MVP in quarter 2. to allow a multiple hosts of users to jump onto the platform, allow them enough tokens to verify, so the token verification will be changed just for that alpha testing, just to allow kind of a lot of people to use a project, stress test it, and continue on. So stay tuned for the airdrop date and details that obviously we will be dropping on our Telegram channel, t.me/Tapcoin, on Twitter and our social media. So we're super excited about that, and I know we just obviously want to, the main things for us is we want to get this project into the hands of gamers, in the hands of people that will use it, in the hands of everyone, right? We don't want to have this thing restricted to just a select few, but we do want to get this out to as many people as we can, for those that, being a gamer myself, I'd love to get my hands on something like this, right? So that's what we have for the airdrop, which is super, super exciting, and we are stoked about that. And Hugh did mention it as well earlier, adding another dev. We've added a group of 3 or 4 additional team members over the last week and announced them on our Twitter channels and during our newsletter as well. And Hugh, I know you're super ecstatic about it, and there's kind of pushing you your way, but anything to add in that point?
No, I think for the airdrop, I think one of the things that makes it awesome as well is because when we get the platform out there, before we sort of roll onto the full MVP, we'll kind of need some feedback, right? So by allowing more users onto it to kind of test and give us some feedback on bugs and features that don't work, and user interface things and so forth, it kind of just fine tunes it for when we do have the MVP and we bump it back to what the the total is to get on the platform. Then we've got a product that's been tested, and we know we can take it to a degree and just continue to build on top of it. But like you said, it's getting it into the hands of as many people as possible, and from that point, it kind of speaks for itself. So.
It's kind of like doing if you do kind of pre-order a game or anything like that, you get kind of like a closed alpha, and we kind of want to keep some of the gamification surrounding the games and the things that we do know similar to our project, right? So we kind of want to have kind of like a closed alpha, allow those access to the platform, because as we said before, there is a verification section, and you have to hold tap coins, being full utility tap coin and token. You do have to hold tap coins to join onto the platform and to be able to earn, transport, import, export into other games, and continue using tap coin on our platform. So we do want to make sure that it does get into as many hands to, as Hugh said, provide some feedback, relay some bugs, and push that into the MVP, and kind of when we go into our open beta or open alpha or whatever you might call it, right? So perfect. So we will be, on touching in terms of the additional team updates. Last week we attended a Vantech pitch event, and this was one of our first events of this style for the year, at least for 2018. So we're super excited to kind of push our team out there and get into this pitching mode, and really let the TAP project speak for itself, especially for people that have not seen it. And the audience was a bit different. We did have some blockchain minded people in there, and we did have some people who knew of blockchain. So the levels and the variations of people that had the understanding was great. It was a great opportunity for us to really test the TAP project to see if there was a true understanding there, and if the project could fill on a mainstream level. And Hugh, I'd say the response that we received was pretty good, especially from those that did not have a clear understanding of any sort of blockchain technology at the beginning.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like the mixture of people there was a good variety to kind of see, is this just one is just something just for the crypto space or the blockchain space, or is this something that you take complete strangers who aren't gamers whatsoever, and can they understand the concept from a 90-second pitch? And you did the pitch, and you did an awesome job, and the judges and everybody in the audience got it, and it was like one of those moments, like that we and I think for us, we're using this as an indicator when they say, "Oh my kid," like, "Oh wow, that's so simple. Like, why isn't this being done? Like, I can't believe it was never done before. Like, that's awesome, right? And that's usually that's the feedback we've been getting, and so it was kind of nice to see, like, we had bankers there, that worked with a financial institute. We had a mayor there, right? So you got a good
Yeah, we
mix
had the
there.
mayor. The mayor.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool when he was, making some comparisons to Candy Crush and stuff like that. Obviously, games that he might be familiar with, whether they're mobile or not. But he was making some comparisons, and he definitely got it. And it was definitely cool to kind of, have conversations with him about that, especially, right?
Yeah. No, it was super interesting and cool. Like, the age demographics was obviously a bit higher, but the fact that we were able to hit a demographic that high, not that high, yikes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what is it, senior home or something?
If you're looking
Old
there,
folks home?
sorry. That's not what I meant. We're able to hit a demographic, like a wide demographic. That just proves that this is a product that can, like we're always saying, people that just game for 5 or 10 or 15 minutes, when they're just, getting ready for bed or some downtime. It's not, the full overnight, like 5 hours, pull out the Gatorade, pull out, the Doritos type of deal, maybe it's just 20 minutes, right? So it was kind of awesome to know that we're able to capture quite a wide market with this project, and when we do have it out there, we're going to see different age groups and different types and different people just being able to benefit from it. So.
And as you noted before, it was 90 seconds, and 90 seconds to explain your project or your product, introduce it, explain it, tell it why it's a problem, what you're going to do to solve it, and kind of push out your action, your call for action in 90 seconds. It's quite tough, and we did see some flourish. Obviously, during the pitch, and we did see some kind of not flourish so much, and everyone did well. But obviously, 90 seconds it's tough. Some people are used to it, some people aren't. So I do congratulate the team kind of on expanding that, and we were able to get some great networks and kind of make some real life connections. Not just on the blockchain, not just on Twitter or anything like that. Some real face to face connections, and push our project further, kind of in the mainstream, and letting people actually hear about us. So with that, we have moved on to round two. Round two, fight.
Pretty good.
So,
yeah, no, it was super awesome to get play second, and it's like, hey, this is our first pitch type event for this year, and to kind of take that and be pushed to the next round is really cool. So we got to pat ourselves, pat yourself on the back, for a good job. And there were some really good connections, and this is what and I know I'm sort of jumping ahead, so I'll jump ahead and I'll jump back. What I was saying in like the Telegram groups, it's not all about like the digital space, being able to make those partnerships, quote unquote partnerships, that they're not beneficial. Like, let's be honest, if you're making a partnership with, for example, a project that's purely blockchain, and that project doesn't survive, where does that leave you? But if you're making partnerships with established businesses or established partners that have been around for a while and that can benefit your project in the space, that's where we're at, right? We're in the physical world, making those physical connections and talking and creating those bonds and those business connections to take the project for a long term. But anyways, I'll jump back and I won't, hijack the podcast. So.
No, you're free. You're free to speak, but it is true, right? Like sometimes you do just gotta kind of go cold calling, right? You gotta pick up that phone and dial through the phone book, or you gotta go door to door and the old salesman route. Just because sometimes that's where the partnerships are made, or the true partnerships. It's it's one thing to plaster out some marketing and some papers, and but to really engage with your partners or networks or people that are interested in your project is one thing, and it's different. So I do think that's kind of our style right now, especially with our team and kind of what we're working with. It's as we always say at the grassroots, speaking directly to people, and that's why we're so open on Telegram, and we do encourage talking and questions, and we'll never back down from a question. We might not be able to speak on some things, but will never back down from a legitimate question about the project or the product or the tap coin or what its use is or how it can actually push forward the gaming industry or further other industries as well in blockchain space.
For sure.
And this next thing kind of goes into a segue as to kind of how open we always want to be, and we are leaving this one, for one of the last topics, because it is quite heavy, but we will do our best to keep it real, if that's what I'll just say.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of intro this by Hugh. You brought up an article that you had seen over the last week, so just talk a little bit about that.
You have to remind me, sir, which one? I read like 1,000 articles.
The article about the subpoenas there.
Right. So the subpoena. Like you said, it's a bit heavy, but it's the truth, right? And so it's one of those things where you can't just put your head in the sand and pretend it's not there. So the article is basically how how SEC has subpoenaed about 80 or 90 blockchain projects that were participated in the ICO. And basically, they're saying it's more of a soft subpoena, but it's sort of almost setting the tone, in my opinion, because they're requesting information on how these projects, how the ICO's initial coin offerings, ITO or whatever you want to call it, how they went about, the funding received, how the contributors were involved, and how the funds are being used, and where the product is or the project is. So 80 of these got sent out, and they're sitting with the projects right now, and a lot of the projects have replied back. Right, they're pretty open as well, because they believe that their projects have a use case for the blockchain. So that's pretty much, that sums up. But that's a quick summary of what the article is. So, what were kind of your thoughts on it?
Well, it just kind of goes to show, right? They're being subpoenaed by the U.S. SEC to kind of present this information, right? So they do have some judicial authority there, providing these letters of declaring information or demanding information, just using kind of the basis of just lighthearted talk, right? But if you do resist, then it's a double-edged sword type of thing, right? So just kind of lighthearted talk. Hey, come with me to the back here, right? Let's just have a little chat. And it does, as you said, set the stage, right? It sets the stage for kind of the current market for cryptocurrency, blockchain tech, ICOs, ITOs, whatever you might call them. So for new startups on the blockchain using crypto as a way to start their business, start an idea, start a project, it sets a precedence for other, obviously, agencies around the world to kind of follow suit. Because up until this time, we haven't really received or seen anything on this type of level that kind of provides a foot in a direction that they're going to be going. And obviously, this is direction. It's not a clear direction as to yet what they're going to be doing or their intents, but it's a direction, right? So now you can see follow suit from others that might have a similar direction. The one thing that I kind of, and that we did talk about it as well, and we're kind of getting to kind of a little bit how the discussion went on Telegram, is that it's been used kind of the ruse of for investment protection. And maybe I should have a warning for what I'm going to say next. It's kind of used to almost like a scapegoat. Can I say that?
I think you can say that.
Can I say that?
Yeah,
a scapegoat.
We've been transparent since day one, so let's not stop it.
That's true. It's almost used like a scapegoat, as they're saying, we're protecting investors. We want to protect investors. We want to learn more about your project. Because we need to protect investors.
Oh, and now look what you've done. Now you open the floodgates, because I'm going to jump in there. I'm going to start going down the rabbit hole a bit by saying, let's be honest. They're maybe I'll dial it back a little.
No. Let's hear
You want to hear? Okay, all right. They're basically saying, you don't know what to do with your funds, right? You have all these funds, and you spent the time researching a product or a project. You spent the time looking at its validity. If it's valid, if it's something that can happen, if it's something that you're either passionate about or about, you're involved in the field, for example. But you know what? And you spent all this time, you've done all this research, and now here's your opportunity to help a project grow. But you know what? You're too dumb for that. We're here to protect you because you don't know what to do, right? You're not smart enough to do it. This is how I sort of look at it. But as I said, maybe it's a little too heavy to kind of go in that way. But that's sort of like I said, it's a scapegoat. It's hidden underneath to say, oh, this is for your protection. But the question is it really?
Right. And that's it. Is it really for your protection? What is their intent there? What are they, where they might call them hidden agendas? What is the real intent there? And I think, it's twofold. And I think the problem is twofold, as we discussed. It's the fact that last year we saw a crazy, ICO spurt. The number of ICOs that kind of ICOs, ITOs, whatever you might call them, kind of spurted out over last year. Kind of reached a little bit of different levels in the crypto world. We did see some ICOs that obviously continued, pushed out projects, pushed out products, and they're continuing to develop and continue to expand. And then we did see some that push out an idea or an innovation and then kind of list themselves on exchanges or whatever you might call them. And that kind of created a almost like a bad precedent for people demanding exchanges.
Yeah.
So they're demanding exchanges for projects they love because they really love their project, they want to stay with it, and they just want to see their project go on an exchange, and they want to see the numbers and the green tickers and candles and whatever. And then you get people that don't know anything about a project, but they just trade or they just see an opportunity and they just don't know anything about the project. They know the three letters and that's it. They don't know anything about the team. They don't know any sort of fundamentals.
Yeah, yeah. They know what to look for on the exchanges, right? What's the name of this project? I don't know. Well, what are their tokens? I know their tokens because that's the token that's traded, right?
Yes, and that kind of creates a opportunity for these type of things where projects who are trying to do great blockchain innovations or trying to bring out great tech, getting hammered, getting destroyed under the ruse for protection of investors. When investors love their project, but they're just used to a certain action that's happening after an ICO happens, which is going on exchange. And that is an awful place and a scary place to be on the side of a blockchain enthusiast and on the side of a person that's trying to start up a project on the blockchain industry by means of an ICO. That does not set anybody else in a great light or in a great position. I don't know about you, Hugh, but it kind of puts everybody in a position where you'll lose all control and you'll lose all it's kind of like playing in the sandbox, right?
Mm-hmm.
You come to play in the sandbox and then you get everything ripped from you because you brought your favorite toy in the sandbox, and then little Billy goes home. Not that there's no Billies out there who are going to be listening are going to take my toys in the sandbox,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah. It's one of those funny things, like when you think about it. The expectation, like you said, is the project, the contributors help because they feel passionate about it or they understand the concept and see the vision, and then it's it needs to hit an exchange. But it's sort of have you ever been to like the grocery store or whatever, and you see somebody like pick up a fruit and they start squeezing and knocking the fruit, and then you kind of go over them and you ask them, oh, what are you doing? And they I'm squeezing and knocking fruit. Well, why? Well, I don't know. I saw the last guy do it, so I figured it must do something, right? But nobody knows why. So it's sort of like this is what's happened. Like project gets enough to start building and funding, and it's got to be on the exchange. Why? Well, because that's what the last project did, or that's what the project before it did. So there's actually no viable reason. if the project is viable and the product is something that's going to be produced, it's I'm not we can't say what, but it's one of those flows that things will happen to the project, right? Things will happen that work out in the best interest of the project, and the fact that you contributed, there that will be, the universe will take care of you, if I can put it that way.
It's the idea that the project and development will create its own value based on the product itself. Obviously, things have to happen, startups have to happen, and things take time for ideas and innovations to come to light and push forward. But the product in itself will speak for itself. Because if you're actually, as you said, hitting goals, hitting milestones, making marks, you're doing everything that some businesses that are out there for 30 years are still missing marks on. You're hitting them from day one. That creates value in its project alone. So you're not comparing it to anything else, but you're comparing it to the value of the project itself.
Yeah.
This project is good because A, good team. B, hits marks, hits milestones, makes deadlines, actually advances technology and blockchain technology and updates it and adds a new spin to it. Those are all things that create value, not just the fact that it's on a ticker, it's at 0.005. To me, that's not the real value of their project. So what I'm trying to say, and the call to action here, not in our Telegram alone, not in in anyone specifically, but out there in the general audience, for those who are listening and those who will listen, let's change the mentality of kind of the state of cryptocurrencies and blockchains and ICOs. Because my warning is, if we don't change and we don't protect those projects that you love and you actually believe in, or you actually feel that, hey, this is actually, they're going to put solar panels on the moon, or they're going to put piping where or here, or they're going to make allow me to digitally convert or whatever. If you actually believe in these projects, you have to protect them, because we will have the toys ripped away from us in the sandbox. Billy will come and take those toys away from us.
Yeah, and he'll kick some dirt in your face for good measure too, right? So it's one of those things where, like you said, the product, project shouldn't be judged on the amount of, and I sort of went in a little bit on this in Telegram, but I think it was like an early Sunday morning, so I didn't want to get too heavy. But it shouldn't be judged on the amount of exchanges it's on, if I'm going to be completely transparent here. Like you said, it should be the milestones, the metrics to judge a project should be: one, growth potential. Is it actually growing? Two, are they actually hitting their milestones? Three is, are their products being pushed forward? Is it taking the right steps in the right direction? These are the metrics, the goals, measurable goals. Like any 9-to-5 job, when you're getting a review, you have your measurable goals, and those measurable goals are what's used to determine, if you get a raise or if you get a promotion, right? And it's sort of the same if you sort of take that. And a lot of people that are in the crypto space are business people as well, and they do the 9-to-5, and and they understand, and even if they're not in the business space, they understand business, right? It doesn't take a lot. It's and even if, for example, if you take somebody that might be in the athletic space, you measure their progress by you have your metrics, and you use that to measure their progress. Are they getting faster? Are they shooting harder? Are they jumping higher? Are they completing more passes? These are the metrics. It's not okay, well, let's measure by the jersey number he's wearing. Well, that's not really a metrics, right? You got actionable, and can it be measured, and is it being complete? So that's sort of my thought on the whole sort of space. And like I said, if the push is going to be this way, then it gives the SEC type and the government types a way in to say, well, hey, this is you're in my world, so la di da. We sort of make the rules, but I think overall the crypto space is a pretty it's a pretty I wouldn't say family oriented, but it's a pretty a good space where you go into any of the Telegram chats or anything like that, and you see people talking, right? You see people saying, "Hey, I spent this much research on this, and this might be."
Well, not all the time, but
Not every time. Sometimes it's like, "What?"
sometimes a little toxic, but no, it's a great, as you said, it's a great, it's a tight community.
Yeah.
It's tight community of small but big, very big now. Obviously with caps increasing, of people that care about cryptocurrencies and blockchain and technology and moving forward and kind of changing the way that things are. And I do kind of echo what you said, and as you said, it's a space that we do want to keep innovating, and we do want to have the opportunity to innovate. And sometimes the best things don't happen to the best ideas and projects and things like that. I always make the bring it back to gaming, the kind of comparison with the Dreamcast.
No.
For those who are listening that know what the Dreamcast is.
Prime. Oh man, you remember the first? You remember Sonic, the first one that came out on the Dreamcast? Oh my.
Yeah, the 3D one where you can kind of run around and you go through like the beach and all that.
That was
and the Dreamcast was a great example of kind of innovation and technology and advancements in gaming and graphics and controller. And you know what had water throughout? It had a water cooling system.
Oh, get out of here!
Did you know that it had a water cooling system? So those who are PC people or whatever, you pay thousands of dollars to get a full on water cooling system through your computer. That obviously, if it breaks, it cracks and it leaks, whatever. But you have a full on thousands of dollar system to get water cooling in it. Dreamcast, which came out in the late 90s, 1999, early 2000s, somewhere around there, had a water cooling system in and throughout its console.
I just remember the Dreamcast. It was one of those consoles where it had all the right, it did all the right things, had all the right potential, but it just killed in its prime before it could shine, right?
It got beat up by the man.
Yeah.
It definitely, and Sony was the man at the time, but it got beat up by the man, and people asked for more visuals, more this, more that, things that weren't necessary for the console, things that weren't tailored specifically for gaming. They were asking for other things, a name, a brand. Yes, and there are certain things that have to go along that, but I'm just trying to say that obviously great tech does die hard by the hands of the people, right? So it is what it is, but we don't really want to talk about them too much, but I just want to put that out there, put that into the atmosphere, is that things need to change for growth and development, especially in the blockchain industry. And I don't want this industry to kind of go with the hands of other people, if you know what I mean, right? So
yeah. You know what? And maybe we'll wrap up out of this heavy cloud of whatever we want to call it. But I think we've been very fortunate in the span of the project, and it's only the beginning. There's so much more that we've built a very organic community in the TAP Telegram channel, and the community's always been there for the project, and always had the project's best interest and backing. So I think we're one of the very few and very fortunate projects out there, and and it's easy for us as co-founders to actually step into the Telegram room and chat, because we know that the people in there are interested in the success of the project, right? Where I feel as if the other I don't know. I'm just gonna say yes. They wouldn't want to jump in their Telegram rooms for too long, more than 10 seconds before they get out of Dodge, right? So
No, I will echo what you just said as well. We do have a great Telegram community, and we do have a great community backing us and kind of supporting us as well, and supporting the project and the Tapcoin. And so obviously some of these words aren't directed at our specific group or community or people that follow us or support us, but in a generality in the
Yeah. Oh yeah.
statement of the whole crypto industry. So I will agree to that. In other news as well, Hugh, I know we did have a discussion kind of with Fuego and our partnerships and our partnership with Fuego Studios. With our project, and that is going well. And as we slated, we are still on par for Q2. Do you have any sort of plugin updates that you can kind of give us a teaser a little bit to bite at? Obviously, we can't talk about too much, but anything that we can bite at to kind of crunch our teeth into.
Well, without giving away, without spoiling me, 'cause I'm spoiling it too much. We are in the stages of being able to take from do we talk a little bit about the exclusive game, or we just kind of not really? Just kind of leave it.
We kind of want to.
We'll leave it. So the API and the API and the SDK. Let's say they're talking. Right?
They're going very well.
Yeah, there's communication there that as a project, like you and I are super happy about. Like I said, that's the project being able to convert in-game earned and premium to tap coins. Basically, that conversion is they're seeing each other. Hey, is that?
I'm just excited to play.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to play on my phone.
Hey, is that a point over there? Hey, I think I see the platform. That's sort of what we've managed to do right now, which is super exciting. As I said, I'm not going to give too much because I don't want to spoil too much. But when we get a little closer to that, then this will all sort of make sense. When I say that they're able to talk to each other right now, and so that's super exciting. So I'll leave it there before I start.
Leave me thinking and wanting more.
Yeah.
Oh, you had to.
Yes, I won't say any more. But all I'm saying is that's a giant enormous leap. For hitting that MVP road and just knocking it out of the park. So. All the announcements coming up. It's just we're throwing the balls up and we're just gonna be hitting them out of the park.
And we cannot wait. So I thank you guys for tuning into our podcast, and that is going to be wrapping it up for this one. Join us every second Saturday and last Saturday of the month. Right now, we're doing a bi-weekly podcast. We're having a lot of fun. We're enjoying all your questions and discussions. And obviously, if you guys do jump on our Telegram channel, t.me/tapcoin, hit us up. Hashtag podcast in our Telegram channel. We'll push any questions onto our podcast as well. Follow us on Twitter @tapcoin. All our social media, Facebook, our new Instagram, where we do all our local events, as well as join us on our newsletter and our website as always. And maybe a little teaser there as well, right? Something's changing. I think something might be changing, but on to the next one, right?
we got a lot to let's leave right there. So like we usually do, fueled by gamers, inspired by the community, disruptive to all.
All right, you guys have a good one. Let's go.